passionate about Rotary membership. And one of the things that I'm seeing happening in Rotary is a steady aging of Rotary, and nationally a decline in Rotary membership. Now here in this district, we've just stayed flat. However, this number, Rotary has aged 12 years in the last 15. In 1993, the average Rotarian was 45 years old. A couple years ago, the average Rotarian was 57 years old. And if you look at the reflection of who's in Rotary, who's in the workplace, what you see is there's a lot of baby boomers, there's a lot of folks 65 and older in Rotary. But that's not who's in the workforce. To my mind, this is a disconnect because Rotary is supposed to be an organization of business, community, and professional leaders. And if it doesn't reflect business, professional, and community leaders, I think we have a problem. So where does marketing come in? Well, Rotary has a perception problem. What is Rotary perceived as? An old, rich, white guy social club.
What's wrong with that? I didn't say you were going to take his picture for this.
So what does this mean? I mean, in a nutshell, what it means is when I talk to my brother's girlfriend, she's 29, she's an attorney for it's not Preston Gates, but Gates K&L or Gates, whatever that's called. People like that do not want to join Rotary because they look at Rotary and they say, well, that's my grandpa's club. And there's nobody like me there. There's nothing for me there. All they're going to do is ask me to give money.
And then when you say District 5030 is flat, boy, that speaks to that, right?
Yeah,
away.
I mean, District 5030 has 3,400 Rotarians, and 2,500 have come through the last 5 years. I mean, that's an awful statistic. It means our retention is lousy. That's, in a nutshell, that's what it means.
Anyway, I didn't mean to really get you out of track.
Oh, no, it's a good question.
So, Carlos, are we analyzing at all why we lose people? I mean, do we do exit interviews of any kind? Do we keep statistics?
Yes, but nobody really acts on them.
Are you a proponent of installing a marketing department in Rotary that works a lot harder towards that? I mean, and maybe as part of membership chairs and things like that?
No, and part of the reason why I'm not is the clubs themselves need to fix this first. Rotary has PR, Rotary has some advertising that they do, but at the end of the day, what people experience when they walk into a Rotary Club is this. Or they go to Seattle 4 at the West End or the Sheraton or something like that, and they experience that. And it doesn't matter what you see on advertising. It doesn't matter if you see a campaign that Rotary does all these great things. If what you experience is you walk into a meeting and it's disorganized and nobody has any idea who the speaker is and nobody's taking attendance, and I've been to meetings like this where nobody takes attendance and nobody knows who the speaker is. The meeting goes for 2 hours. If that's your Rotary experience, that's very unpleasant. So 6 business principles. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly because I want to get to the Rotary stuff. So what do I mean by focus on the long term? All I mean is you need to have a long-term plan. 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 50-year plan. Costco has, I think, a 100-year plan. Amica, my wife works for, they have a 100-year plan. They're planning to be here in 2110.
What's the Washington Mutual long-term plan?
I'm glad you caught that. Washington Mutual is a perfect example of what happens when you don't have a long-term plan and you focus only on the short term. You kill yourself in the long term is what you do. There are literally thousands of different ways that somebody can do service today. There are not that many ways that somebody can do service, can have friends, can network, can get some leadership training, can travel the world, and can meet diverse and interesting people and hear interesting speakers and get an education while they're doing it. This is, in my mind, where Rotary ought to be. This is where Rotary used to be. But, I don't know whether it started 20 years ago or 50 years ago, but Rotary has been all about service. I was at the district assembly last week, and I was talking about this issue, and somebody said, well, one of the first things we tell prospective members is,
Rotary is not a networking organization. Are you kidding me? That's the first thing you tell members. You don't tell them all the great things Rotary does. You don't tell them the benefits to them. You tell them we're not a networking organization. Which I understand where that's coming from, that you don't want people in Rotary who are exclusively there for their own benefit, each other.
Well, Carlos, Rotary originally, I mean, when it was started, Paul Harris and all that, it was networking. It was these people sitting around a table saying, you know, we'll have one lawyer and we'll have one grocer and we'll have one banker, so that we can help each other. It was networking. The only history that I can find from talking with some of the older members is that when the war came, World War II, they decided we won't do business networking. But now it's okay, message.
Well, and to that point, the way Rotary survived and thrived through the Great Depression was not by sticking its head in the sand and saying no networking. It was by lifting its head up and saying, ooh, our members are in trouble. We need to help each other out while we're helping the community. This is the worst economy since the Great Depression. We need to take our head out of the sand collectively and say, okay, we've got to help each other out. What I'm getting at when I say live your brand is we need to put value in a Rotary membership. If the value of a Rotary membership is you get an opportunity to do service, you can write us checks, you can show up to breakfast once a week, I don't see the value there. I see a lot of cost. I see a lot of expectations, a lot of time, but I don't see what I get back out of it. And then here's the last thing I want to leave you with. The opportunity cost of a Rotary membership. This is based on Duval. $130 a year for annual dues, $520 a year for food, $100 is the annual donation to the Rotary Foundation that we ask for, another $250 for fundraisers. What always gets left out is time. How much time are you asking me to contribute to Rotary? And I was a little bit conservative, and I said about $4,000 worth of time. 100 hours at $40 an hour. So the question is, this is what you ought to be asking yourself. Is membership in my club worth $5,000 of that person's time every year? Time and money. If the answer is yes, they will stick around with your club. If the answer is no, they're gone.